What's up, everyone? Welcome to Power Play with CJ. Today I want to talk about if I were in the Florida Panthers, how I'd go about the rebuilding process. I'm probably going to do one for Edmonton, Buffalo, a few other teams, but I'll start there with the Panthers and see how it's received. First things first, they're going to have a top five, top six pick. Um, you don't need plain and simple. You've stockpiled enough young assets. Let's go after some established, not even older players, but personally, I'd try to trade out of that pick and get a pick later in the first round and a first round pick next year, or even 2016. So you get two picks. Then I'd flip those two picks. I'd try to make a deal to acquire Keith Yandle from the Phoenix Coyotes. He's on the trading block, and bringing him in a compliment Soupy, who's got a year left on his contract, and I'm sure he's gone after that. Brian Campbell. Bring in Yandel. You got a long-term puck-moving defenseman who's still 28 years old and one of the better puck movers in the game, despite not being named to the U.S. Olympic team. And then I'd swing a deal to bring a fan of the power play, Charlie Coyle to South Florida. Kind of struggled through a tough sophomore season with the Minnesota Wild, and maybe they want Nick Bjugstad to go home, and you can facilitate a trade around those two, and it's kind of a win-win situation. I know Minnesota's deep with centers between Granlund and Koivu, but maybe that's the hometown. Bring the hometown kid back to Minneapolis. He played at Lake Blaine High School, but maybe make that happen. So, and then the other thing is, I'm going up to Yandel and Coyle, so the Massachusetts connections are definitely there. But in all seriousness, you look at those guys, and then I'd go after. There could be a big name undrafted NCAA unrestricted free agent who's a first round pick on the market this year. Kevin Hayes, Chicago Blackhawks first round pick. He might decide, my brother Jimmy is in South Florida. Maybe we can. Maybe if he waits till August 15th, he becomes a free agent, and you sign him. I mean, he's a pretty good player. And then what you do is you make a push for like Stastny or Bannock, one of those guys. You bring in an unrestricted free agent. You have a quality goaltender in Luongo. I'll say what you want about him, but I mean, 52 saves last night against the Sharks. I mean, 34, 35 years old, not the youngest guy, but he can still help you win hockey games. And you owe your fans that much. Then you got Huberdeau, you got Barkov, you got maybe you facilitate a trade to get rid of Goodbranson. I personally think he'd be better suited elsewhere. I just think that the pressure being a top three pick in that market was not in the market, just in general was tough for him. You flip him to Colorado, get a few assets. He helps them defensively. Maybe Ottawa, you make a trade around him and some draft picks and get Zibanejad or someone like that, which would be ideal. But I don't see Ottawa giving up Mika Zibanejad because he's really, really good at playing hockey. And you make it happen like that. You need young NHL players that are established. So that's why Coyle, Yandels are not young. He's 28, but you catch my drift. And again, if you can do that, you can lure free agents to go to South Florida. Again, easier said than done, but there's no need. I mean, I hate to sound cynical here, but you don't need Leon Drysdale. You don't need Sam Bennett or Dal Cole, a guy like that. You need some more established players because you can stockpile young talent to blue in the face, but unless there's a guy that's been there and done that, to help them going forward. So this should be a really big offseason for the Panthers. I'm curious to see what direction the franchise goes. Again, making the big splash with Luongo. New ownership's in place. They want to spend money. So, if they get Stastny or Vanek or Yandel through a trade, that's definitely something to look at. Maybe he's time McDonald. That's something to look at. You needed a number one. Not again. See, Yandel or McDonald is a conventional number one defenseman. Yandel kind of is by default, even though he's not in Phoenix with Ekman Larson. But you see how that shakes up. But this should be there's some moves to be made, and if the Panthers want to build a winner in South Florida, now's the time to do it. They got the Calder Trophy winner in Huberdeau. Barkov's a stud. Some other pretty high-end players, so that's something to think about. And their 2012 first-round pick, Michael Matheson, is a very, very good NCAA defenseman. He plays at Boston College with none other than Kevin Hayes. Maybe he can facilitate it. Kev, come on down here. We'll win some games and work on our tan, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's on this episode of the Power Play with CJ on if I was in charge of the Florida Panthers, what I'd do. So 2 more episodes for the season and beyond. Later, guys.